Hello everyone, we are approaching political science and international relation through question and answers, and we have discussed in this series so many questions and other model answers as well. So today is the turn for Buddhist tradition in Indian political thought. That is, the question is, write a note on Buddhist tradition in Indian political thought. So sometimes a question appears very simple, and you also have so many informations regarding it. But let me clarify. The question is not saying, what question is not saying, I am starting with that. Question is not saying write essay on Buddhist philosophy or write all thoughts of Buddha and Buddhist tradition. Question is Buddhist tradition in Indian political thought. Political thought. When it is said that political thought, then it does not mean all the things like Buddha on 4 Arya Satyas, or Buddha on Dharma Chakra Pravartan, or Buddha on Nirvana, or Buddha on karma and action, and Buddha and Shramanic tradition and Buddhist philosophy in terms of dhyan, Buddhist tradition in terms of so many things are there, that facts of the nature, Buddhist tradition about the dukkha in life, so many things are there in Buddhism. There are so many Buddhist branches also, Theravadi, Hinayan, Mahayana, Navayan, Vajrayan, so many. Historically, this topic is huge, Buddhist studies. But let me clarify. Here you are writing in political science, and political thought has been already being explicitly mentioned. So in the whole ocean of Buddhist thought, you have to find the political portion only, because the question is demanding only that, and you have to write only that. So when you talk about political thought, political question, political issue, then definitely the question on discussion on state will come. That what is state, how state was created, then the rulers and ruled would come. Rights and duties will come. Since this is asking about Buddhist tradition, and in ancient, so rule of king was concerned. King and state and people's relation were concerned. Rights and duties are concerned. These are political issues. Public issues, not private issues. Rights and duties. Material things. Not Buddhist philosophy about God, or Buddhist philosophy about theory of karma kanda, to counter karma kandas. There are so many things in Buddhism. But you have to be very specific, because it is Buddhist tradition. And you must have the knowledge that in ancient political, Indian political thought is broadly classified into 2 parts. Brahmanical tradition and Shramanic tradition. Within Shramanic tradition, Buddhist tradition, Jainist tradition will come. So you must have that, the knowledge. And whenever we will be referring to Brahmanical tradition, which will be different from Shramanic tradition, then only for contrast. You have not to go into detail of Brahmanic tradition, because question is not asking about Brahmanic tradition. It's only to contrast with this. So as I always emphasize, that you must have the whole information and knowledge and understanding, and then only you will be able to write a model answer in this regard. So let me tell you that as far as broadly Indian political thought in ancient India is concerned, one was Brahminical tradition. This is only for understanding. This is only for contrast. Brahminical tradition, which was represented by Sanatan texts like all Vedas, like Brahmanas, Upanishads, Puranas. So they are Brahminical tradition. And at the time of Buddha also, in plains, Brahminical tradition was dominant and absolute monarchy was there. Absolute monarchy was there. Ajat-Shatru, hereditary monarchy was there. Ajat-Shatru was contemporary of Buddha. So in Magad, there is absolute monarchy. So Brahminical tradition favored. This is only for understanding. We have to write this portion. So absolute monarchy, while Buddhist tradition in hills, Buddhist tradition, as far as political tradition to be very specific, this did not favor absolute monarchy, republicanism or Ganarajya or Gan, republicanism was there. No hereditary monarchy was there. No hereditary monarchy. Hereditary monarchy. This is the first difference. Moreover, in plains, this was in Gangetic plains or plains where there was huge production surplus. So here in Brahminical tradition, inequality was existing and it was justified and it was perpetuated. But in hills, as you know, production surplus is less. So inequality in society is also less. So Buddha was belonging to the hilly tradition. Hilly tradition with less production surplus and more egalitarianism is there even today. In hilly societies or hilly states, you will find more egalitarianism. In tribal societies, more egalitarianism, while in plains, you will find more inequality. So hilly tradition was more democratic, more egalitarian. Egalitarianism is also a relative word, equality is also a relative term, but more equality than this. So egalitarian tradition it was having, egalitarian tradition. This is the reason why in Buddhist Sanghas, the people of lower Varnas were also allowed. Not only Vaishyas, but Shudras also were allowed. But this was typical Brahminical tradition where fourfold Varna system. And here, Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. This was the chronological order, descending order. But in Buddhist tradition, first Kshatriyas, then Brahmins, then Vaishya and then Shudra. This is the also fundamental difference. It's not a coincidence that in Brahminic tradition, both Gautam Buddha and Mahavir Jain were Kshatriya by their Varnas. So this is how you have to contrast between Buddhist tradition and you have to understand right Buddhist tradition. For that you have to contrast the is opposite or is rival, because in 6th century BC onwards there were conflict between two forms of the government also, as Ajat-Shatru was attacking Vaishali or Vajji Sangh, and it was not only serving his political interest, but it was meant to eliminate the rival political system which was different from monarchical form of government. So here in Brahminical tradition and or Vedic tradition or Sanatan tradition, or later it is called Hindu tradition, Brahminical Hindu tradition, while it is Buddhist tradition. Now we have to confine ourselves to the political portion. So I must further contrast. I am writing this left hand side Brahminical tradition, Brahminical BT, and Buddhist tradition BH, Buddhist tradition. So just to contrast, as far as Brahminical tradition is concerned, regarding a state, there is divine theory of a state. Both Manu and Kautilya claim that state was divine creation, divine theory of a state. There was Matsnyaya, there was anarchy, there was lawlessness, might was right, strong was devouring the weak. So to end Matsnyaya, the Brahma, the creator one, created state and king. So even king is a divine creation. So king and state become unquestionable since they are divine. In contrast, Buddhist tradition supports social contract theory of a state. Social contract theory of a state. As I remind you that you are not writing an essay on Buddhism, you are writing a specific answer in relation to political thought, not Buddhism as a whole. So social contract theory of state means state was formed by contract among people. So state is artificial, not divine. State is artificial, not divine. So this is how state become questionable, and why there was no Matsnyaya in this Buddhist scheme of things. There was no Matsnyaya, and Buddha himself claimed that he was like guru come doctor to find the reasons of the sorrow and to give the solution of it, rather than going into hypothesis, too much hypothesis, how the world was created. There are two things, Prakriti and Sanskriti. Prakriti was existing, it is being believed by both. But Sanskriti, Sansar, was created by Brahma. Buddha also claimed that Prakriti was existing, but state was created by people, not by Brahma. So, why state was created? The problems relating with the private property. Problems in relation to private property, because private property is an institution. In relation to private property came into existence. Now for its regulation, state was must. So this is how there is a fundamental difference between Brahminic tradition and Shraman tradition. Why Shraman means effort. You will be getting truth only by your own effort. Here you will find Karm Kand, Bhakti, Darshan. Here you will find Karma. Shraman means action. So Buddha favored theory of action, that whatever we get, it is based on our action. He explained it in terms of Patit Samutpad, a chain of related events. If we throw a stone in pond, then waves are created, and two is reason for second is created by first, third is created by second, and so on. Chain of related events. So here action is emphasized. Here dhyan or meditation is emphasized, while here darshan, bhakti, karma kand, rituals, Brahminical rituals were concerned, including the sacrifice of cattle wealth. Buddhism favored non-violence to protect cattle wealth. So state is not divine. So naturally state laws will also be not divine. So the other difference between Brahminical tradition and Buddhist tradition, you will find that here laws, because in political thought you have to talk about state, government, laws, rights, duties, people, welfare. These are political thought, not as a whole. So here laws were divine, eternal. You have to refer in this particular answer, you have to only refer Brahminical tradition for contrast. You have not to write this portion. I am just writing for understanding, for contrast. Ultimately you have to focus on that, and whenever you are writing then in contrast to this, central focus is this. So in Brahminical tradition, laws are eternal, divine, unchangeable, changeable. However, in Buddhist tradition, in Buddhist Buddhist tradition, you will find that laws can be modified for the welfare of the people, can be modified, can be changed, can be reversed, can be quashed, modified for welfare of people, for welfare of people, welfare of people. So this is another fundamental difference between Brahminical tradition of plains on one hand and Buddhist tradition of hilly areas. Then there is a difference in also the king. Here king in Brahminical tradition is called Chakravarti. Chakravarti king means king is compared with Vishnu. King is compared with Vishnu. And Chakravarti king through Ashwamedha Yagya, conquering land is the focus by Chakravarti king. And king is called Gopal, and earth is called Gomata, and Chakravarti king will expand its territory, will conquer more and more territory. This was favored by Kautilya as well. However, in Buddhist scheme of things, it's not Chakravarti king, it's world ruler who will not conquer land, who will win the hearts of the people, to win the hearts of people. So there is a fundamental difference. And moreover, Buddha was called King of Kings and world king, to win the heart of the people. So here Bheri Ghosh means Bigul for war. Bheri Ghosh. Here Ghosh is there, declaration is there, but Dham Ghosh is there. Dham Ghosh. So you will find that in Buddhist tradition there is concept of welfare state, there is concept of liberal ruler, there is a concept of artificial state, a state to regulate property, and approach in Buddhist tradition is inductive, while in Brahminical tradition approach is deductive. I have already said that here in Brahminical tradition, deductive method, that is pre-assumed conclusion and then developing theories, top-bottom approach. Something is already presumed that God is there. But Buddhist tradition is following inductive method based on observation, scientific inductive method, that is particular to general, not general to particular, that is based on observation, that is scientific, that is based on observation and experience. As Buddha says, apo dipo bhava, apna deepak khud bane, means you have to search for the knowledge, you have to invent the truth. So here the method is meditation. Meditation has two meaning, either to concentrate or contemplate on a particular thing and stabilize on it, or either to nothing to have contemplate, to become shunya, shunyavad, that is to nothing to concentrate, nothing to think, just become zero. So here focus is on meditation, and meditation can be taking place only in peaceful areas. So forest is deliberately chosen for meditation. In Brahminical tradition, forest was seen as a area of punishment, like Bhagwan Ram in Brahminical tradition was the Dandakaranya forest, he was sent for 14 years, like Pandavas were also sent to forest. So in Brahminical tradition, forest was considered to be a punishment. So this is also in contrast, because here the focus is on darshan, that is to see. focus is on karma kandas, that is Brahmanical rituals. Focus is on bhakti, that is loving devotion to God. But here focus is on karma, theory of karma. Theory of karma. So in Buddhist political tradition, focus for all, whether it's king, whether it's people, whether it's individual, whether it's groups, focus is karma, that is action. Your action determines everything. And here there was violent sacrifices, and cattle were sacrificed, and violence was there. Violent sacrifice of cattle wealth, sacrifice of cattle wealth. But Buddha favored the path of Madhyam Marg, that neither extreme non-violence nor extreme violence, Madhyam Marg. He is not saying to kill animals for food, but if an animal is already dead, there is nothing wrong to take the meat of it. So this is the difference. So here violence is being focused, but here love, karuna, and the three, there are various threes in Buddhist tradition. The three ratna, three jewels of Buddhism are Buddha, Dham, and Sangh. Political party is more Sangh, because Buddha himself was the teacher come guru. He never claimed to be God. And Dham means following the righteous path, the dharma established by Buddha based on suspicion, based on observation, based on scientific inquiry, based on inductive method. And Sangh, democratic organization with egalitarian, and a democratic organization with egalitarianism, and most importantly with gender justice. So today gender issue, women empowerment is one of the key political issue and thought. So gender justice. And Buddha, stepmother of Buddha, Gautami, was the first to be given membership of Sangha, Bhikshu and Bhikshuni both. However, in Brahmanical tradition, there was gender injustice. Gender injustice. Like for 4 purusharthas, 4 objectives of male's life, dharma, artha, kam, moksha. But the duty of women was pativrata, and moreover females and women were considered as private property. Moreover, sati system was justified later in Guptan period onwards. Moreover, the confining women to domestic sphere was favored. Moreover, women participation in religious activity was not there. Later we will see further exploitation and subjugation, Devdasi system and all those things, sati system and parda system, all that. But ultimately in Buddhist tradition, it is more democratic, it is more egalitarian, and it is favoring gender justice. So these are the 3 pillars of Buddhist tradition. Moreover, this I referred only for contrast. Let me clarify again and again. To contrast, now we have to focus on Buddhist tradition alone. So once we have contrasted, now we will focus only on Buddhist tradition. So one is 3 pillars of Buddhism. 3 pillars of Buddhism. First is pragya. Pragya means understanding and thinking. So Buddhism focuses a lot on understanding and thinking. Whatever you see around, there should be meditation, there should be recalling, there should be a customization, there should be inculcation. So here Buddhism focuses a lot on thinking and understanding. The light, thinking and understanding. Moreover, this is pragya. Then karuna. Karuna means compassion and love. Karuna means compassion and love. Buddhism was not based on empathy, but Also empathy plus action to cure the problems of the other. As Buddha claimed that he was guru, he was doctor, he was to cure the people sorrows. He will not be going into discussion of the theories of creation of the universe, no. So Karuna, Karunamai Buddha is called. He was so much Karunamai, or so much having compassion, that even whatever he was getting in through beggary, Bhiksham Dehi, he was giving it to the others. He was not retaining it for himself. He was so selfless. So that tradition continued. So Buddha, Pragya, Karuna and Samta, that is equality. Equality. In Brahminical tradition, you will find more Varna-based inequality, more Brahminical dominance, rituals, oppression of lower Varnas, oppression of women, inequality. But here Samta. Samta means equality. This is the reason why even Dr. B.R. Ambedkar followed Buddhism and favored Buddhism and converted to Buddhism, giving up Brahminical Hinduism. So these are further 3 E's. Then there are 3 truths of in Buddhist scheme of things, that life is just like moving water. That is called anicca, means nothing is permanent. Anicca means nothing is. There are 3 principles also, 3 facts of life. That anicca. Anicca means everything is transient. There is nothing permanent. There is nothing permanent. This is the reason why the anicca, that is, there is nothing permanent and everything is transient. And you will find that he compared life with moving river water. River water. So there is nothing permanent. There is nothing fixed in life. Then anatta. Anatta means rising above selfish interest, or giving up selfishness. Giving up selfishness. So this is also there in Buddhist tradition. And dukkha, that is the fact of the life. Dukkha means sorrow. And Buddhist 4 Arya Satyas, in with that Arya Satyas means 4 truths of everybody's life, universally, that life is full of sorrow, first. Second, desire is the cause of sorrow. Third, there is a way out. Fourth, Astangik Marg, or 8-fold path. Like, right, Astangik path means 8-fold path. Vishalam M. Vishalam C. Right views are very important for righteous understanding and balanced views on any issue. Right intention means not having any evil intention, not having evil design. Right speech, not to hurt anybody. Right of action, which is good for others. Right of livelihood, to respect life. And so on. Right of meditation, right of concentration, right effort, which is beneficial to others. So this is 8-fold path. That is right views, V for views, I intention, and like speech, action, livelihood, effort, meditation and concentration. Concentration, C, is so central in Buddhist scheme of things, that you will be finding that Buddha was sitting like this and was concentrating. Meditation was there, dhyan was there, and dhyan with peace. Purpose of life is peace, understanding the truth. And Buddhist religion is the first scientific religion. He did not speak about God. Whenever question was asked on God, he did not say anything. This itself says that how Buddhist political tradition was scientific, based on inquiry, based on inductive method, not deductive method, not predetermined assumption, but to search for the truth. Means shraman, means effort for the search of the truth. This is what there in Buddhist tradition, in contrast to Brahminical tradition. So in Buddhist scheme of things, the king was world ruler who will be conquering the hearts of the people. Moreover, it is more based on welfare of the people. State in Buddhist scheme of things would be a welfare state, although this is common element. Let me tell you, it's not that Buddhist and Brahminical tradition are segregated, but Kautilya also favored welfare state. For Buddhist tradition also this is common thing, welfare state, welfareism. As Ashoka himself believed in Buddhism, although his Dhamma was not a particular sectarian belief, it was a secular state policy, but that had elements of Buddhism, that was welfare for not only men but for animals as well, hospitals for both men and animals. So welfare state, this is political content. Let me tell you, in the whole Buddhist philosophy, you have to focus only on political part, that is state, nature of a state, creation of a state, king, people, public issues, rights, duties. People will have rights, of course, because there is a monarchy, there is republican tradition, democratic tradition, and unlike monarchical tradition. So here you have to focus upon that. You have to write in Buddhist tradition what are the things which has been asked. Moreover, in Buddhist tradition, you will find that Buddha was called King of Kings, King of Kings, because many rulers, including Ajatashatru in latter phase of his life, realized the futility and was having so much sorrow that he also approached Buddha for advice. This advice on political matters also. For example, when Ajatashatru, by following Buddhism, and his soldiers also followed Buddhism, refused to use violence, there was robbery, there was dacoity, then solution was asked from Buddha. He said, you should not give up your duties. Rajan or king, you have so many duties, you cannot give it up, you cannot run away from it. And soldiers, you are duty bound to protect. So that violence is justified for protection. So in that case, Buddha gave very practical solution, and he was not saying that unlike Gandhian tradition, where if someone is slapping, you are putting another this face on the other side. It's not based on that, because in Buddhist tradition there was a story that a snake was very poisonous and he followed Buddhism. This was symbolic, this is metaphor, that he was following Buddhism, and then earlier people were so much fearful. Now since they came to know that he has given up the violence, so even he was being so much tortured by people and children, and finally he sought refuge of Buddha. Then Buddha said, you should not give up your dharma, your prakriti. मैंने तो काटने के लिए मना किया था, फुफकारने के लिए नहीं. Means the point is that if your prakriti, your dharma is your nature, fundamental nature, you should not give it up. There should be transformation, but your fundamental nature will remain the same. This is how Buddhist scheme of things are very practical, and anybody can follow. In Jainism, there is extreme non-violence, so it's very difficult to follow, particularly for farmers. But it is not so in Buddhist scheme of things. Madhyam marg, not extremism. Madhyam marg. Buddha favored Madhyam marg. In political tradition, Madhyam marg is very, very important. Even in most of the ticklish political issues, Madhyam marg is followed, middle path is followed. Accommodation of all views and interest on the board is being there. Same is the case with Buddhism. Buddha told about life, that he compared it with musical instrument. If the wire of it is too tight, means there is too much penances, then it is unsustainable. One can die also. As Buddha was also at the verge of death after so much fasting near the river Niranjana. And neither the life of extreme penances nor life of extreme luxury, because luxury is also not sustainable. Everyone will become sick, or everyone will become old, everyone will die, everyone will have sorrow. So Buddha himself witnessed extreme life of extreme luxury, 0 to 29 and 29 to 35, life of extreme penances, and finally at the age of 35, beneath people tree in Bodh Gaya, he got nirvana, complete peace of mind, that is enlightenment. Buddha means one who has awakened, one who is leading the life by being awakened, one who is coming out from the dormant stage, one who is seeing the things around with understanding, pragya. So this is how Madhyam Marga is so important in our Buddhist tradition. Although this is also common element, Kautilya also favored middle path in diplomacy, in politics, that Madhyam Marg should be followed, because extremes are non-sustainable, whether extreme of left or extreme of right. This is there, you can correlate it in Indian tradition, Buddhist tradition. This is there in Brahminical tradition also. Let me clarify, Madhyam Marg, as Kautilya also favored Madhyam Marg. So the point is, it is there in ethos of India. You see polity of India, Madhyam Marg, neither unitary like England nor federal like US. Again, you see foreign policy, non-alignment movement, neither going to capitalist bloc led by US nor going to communist bloc led by Soviet Union. Again, you see Madhyam Marg in economy, mixed economy, coexistence of public and private sector, PPP, public-private partnership. So we are not extremist from our ethos. We are moderate. We have composite culture. Our basis of civilization is accommodation, not assimilation. So this is how Madhyam Marg is very important political thought, which is there in our ethos, which is reflected in our present generation, and it is going to continue in future as well. So now you are in position to write a short note on Buddhist tradition in Indian political thought. And you have not to write all those things like detailing 4 Arya Satyas of Buddha, and then Buddhist philosophy and various branches of Buddhism and differences between Hinayana and Mahayana, and various forms and manifestation of Buddhism in different spheres, then whether commentaries on Buddhism, and so various Pitaks, Sut Pitak, Vinay Pitak, Vidham Pitak, so many Pitak, Jatak stories, so many Buddhist literature is there. You are not concerned with the further commentaries of Nagsen and Nagarjun and all the others who followed Buddhism and conversion, Navayan Buddhism. All those things are there in Buddhism. You have to focus on only political part. Political part will include the role of power, the use of force by state, the role of king, the role, nature of a state, the creation of a state, and the method. So all those method of inquiry, method of investigation, all those things you have to focus upon. So you are in position to write a good answer, I hope. I am just reminding what we have done. So this is the question again. Now you are in position to write the very sound answer, good answer. Write a note on Buddhist tradition, which is continuing in Indian political thought. This is a very simple question, but here the casualty may be many people or many students may have so much knowledge about Buddhism. They might have, some may have special degrees on Buddhist studies, and some may have more knowledge about Buddha and Buddhism from history and other branches, and also Buddhist philosophy. Some may be knowing more about Buddhist philosophy. We are not concerned with that in this particular question. The question is very specific. Buddhist tradition in Indian political thought. Indian political thought. So as far as Indian political thought, right from ancient India is concerned, it is broadly categorized into Brahminical tradition. Brahminical tradition are only referred for contrast. You have not to go into detail of that. You have to focus on the question is demanding Buddhist tradition. So now it's simple. See, in Buddhist tradition, now how you will write that? And Buddhist tradition, in contrast to Brahminical tradition, favored republicanism and was against hereditary absolute monarchy. Again, you have to write that Buddhist tradition was inspired from hilly tradition in contrast to plains of Brahminical tradition, where it was more democratic, more egalitarian, and it was having more egalitarian society in contrast to Brahminical tradition. Third line, you have to write that Buddhist tradition is Shramanic tradition in contrast to Brahminical tradition, as here effort or action or work is being more emphasized. That whatever we get, it is based on our action. Our action of present life will condition our next life. Our action and behavior of next life will condition our next life. So Buddha believed in pre-birth, but non-soulism. No, nothing like soul. And Buddha believed that nothing is created and destroyed. This is universal law of matter also. But it only changes its form. There is nothing increased, there is nothing decreased. But one thing changes its form into another. As at one point of time said that even if I will die, I will live in these trees, in these leaves. As at the time of death of his father also, he gave assurance to his father that even after your biological death, you will live within me. Your part is living in your grandson and others. So that decreased the sorrow of death, and the fear of death was reduced a lot. So in Buddhist tradition, you will also find that the state was created by social contract because of the problems arising from the institution of private property. Again, you have to write in contrast to divine theory of Brahminical tradition. Contrast, it is making the things easier. Then, in Buddhist tradition, state is artificial and laws can be modified, changed for sake of welfare of the people. In contrast to eternal, divine, non-changeable laws in Brahminical tradition. And in Buddhist tradition, a state was created by social contract, not by Brahma. So this is again a scientific tradition. This is the reason why Buddhism spread to so many countries, as here experience-based knowledge, not knowledge through rote. Here in Vedic tradition, knowledge was transferred from one generation to another generation through rote. And with Vedas come from root word with means knowledge. And it was believed that Vedas were aparusheya in Brahminical tradition, that they were eternal. Rishis just translated into what it was. Vedas, the origin is from God. Rishis only mantra drashta, could only see those mantras and gave it to the people and gave sermon to the people. So here knowledge is being focused at both points. But here knowledge is transferred through rote, through mugging up. While here apo dipo bhava means knowledge would be obtained through investigation, inquiry. Then further you have to move forward. That when Buddhist tradition laws can be modified, can be changed, and are for the sake of welfare of the people, in contrast to this. In Buddhist tradition, ruler is just like world ruler, to conquer the hearts of the people, in contrast to Chakravarti ruler of Brahminical tradition, who will conquer the land. So this is referred only for contrasting this. Then you have to further write, in Buddhist tradition, The inductive method, which is scientific method, which is based on observation, this is particular to general. Here predetermined conclusion, general to particular. So inductive method is used. Here Buddhist tradition focuses on meditation in forest areas, while in Brahminical tradition forests were seen as areas of punishment, and focuses on darshan, bhakti and karma kandas. But Buddhist tradition favors theory of action. As I said that karma, the karuna, karma, these are common keywords in Buddhism. Samta, pragya, meditation, dhyan, these are the keywords in Buddhist tradition. So further you have to write that in Buddhist tradition the three jewels of Buddhism, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. So Sangha is political, means here organization to promote Buddhism in an organized and systematic manner based on democratic egalitarianism and gender justice, in contrast to the autocratic, unorganized way of propagation. And Buddhist tradition favor non-violence, but not extremism, not extreme non-violence. Then again you have to focus on pragya, karuna, samta. These are the three pillars of Buddhism. Understanding, thinking. Thinking and understanding is only through meditation, not through knowledge, through rot. Compassion. When you understand the truths of the life, then you will have compassion, then you will have pain for others, then you will be acting for others, then you will be selfless, rising above selfish interest. That is also called anatta, or giving up selfishness. You realize the futility of material things. And finally, you will find that in Buddhist tradition, anika, that life is compared with river. Nothing is permanent. Everything is transient. Everything is changeable. Changeable, but matter remaining the same. Only transforms. It only changes form. Anatta means rising above selfish interest. As it was asked from Buddha, that what you got after so much of meditation. He said, I did not get, I lost. I lost anger. I lost pride. I lost those evils of life. So there is a joy of losing rather than joy of gaining. So I lost this jealousy, I lost anger, I lost comparison, I lost those glory, I lost those things which are often causing sorrow in our life. Human weaknesses, dukkha, sorrow, fact of the life. And he highlighted how and why there is sorrow. And then 4 Arya Satyas and Eightfold Path. This you have not to refer, because in political tradition you have to, this is only for understanding I have written, because you have limited space. If space permits, you can write in one line, just not take more than one line, because focus you have to keep on political tradition. State, welfare state. Not only hospitals for men, but for animals also. For a state, for giving relief during famine, creation of national highways, waterways, conducive atmosphere for trade, commerce, state involvement in economic activities. This was later seen in modern time, because Buddhist tradition does not mean only the Buddhist saying at the time of Buddha in 6th century. This tradition continued. Buddha as an individual may die, but Buddhist tradition and political thought will continue even till this date. So, tradition is concerned, it's not that you have to confine your discussion only to Buddha and his time only. That tradition continued and propagated by Ashoka as well. And we know about the nature of Mauryan state during Ashoka, because his father Bindusar believed in Ajivak. His grandfather at last leg of life, he believed in Jainism. So we have not to refer, I am only referring this for understanding. So Ashoka promoted Buddhist tradition. And Madhyam Marga, middle path. The path of extremes has to be avoided. So this is how you will be writing the sound answer, good answer. And as I repeatedly remind you that understand the theme of the question. Locus is very important. Boundaries of the answer. It should not breach what has, you should not write the things which has not been asked. I repeatedly say. The moment you write those things which has not been asked, you will be penalized for writing those extra things or writing those unwanted things. And central demand of the question, and then this secondary demand of the question, and then contrast. The question is not regarding Brahminical tradition, but Buddhist tradition is often compared with Brahminical tradition. Because in India, there is broadly two traditions. One is Brahminical, one is Shraman. Within Shraman tradition, Buddhist tradition is the dominant, central. So this is how we have to discuss on all those things. And I hope you are in now position to write an answer where you hardly give any scope to examiner to deduct your marks. So that's it. Thank you. We'll be seeing next question in our next class in this particular series. Thank you.